Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to our Monday edition of our show. Today we have an A's Day exclusive for you. As we prepare for the holiday season, we wanted to provide you with an early Christmas gift. That's right. If you read the title of this episode, we have an A's player interview today. Back on December 8th, earlier this month, it was reported that the A's were in agreement with this infielder on a minor league deal that does include an invitation to spring training. A's Day fans, let's welcome newly signed infielder Michael Stefanic to the show. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. Welcome to the A's. How's it all been this offseason so far?
Great. Second time being in free agency, so it's kind of a process that I'm familiar with now, and ultimately very grateful, to the A's for giving me another chance at playing my eighth professional season, and really looking forward to it.
No, that's great to hear. And I know before we hopped on this interview, you had mentioned you're already down in Arizona, which is great. It's Mesa's the home of the A's, so you can kind of get situated. You got a facility to work out of, so it's good providing that comfortability going into 2026. I am curious, how did this move come about? Were you fielding offers from multiple teams? Were the A's like pretty upfront and with those conversations pretty rampant right away? Kind of share what you can.
Yeah, so we had several teams, kind of in the mix, but kind of what it came down to with the A's was, an opportunity to compete for a spot out of camp. I really admire, all the young players that the A's have. I'm going to be 30 years old, kind of on the older side of things now, which is crazy. But it's such a great young group, especially position player wise, and you know, I'm just looking out to help out wherever I can. I'm going to go out and compete every single day, especially in spring training, and kind of show the fans and the front office and everybody what I can do, and kind of let the chips fall where they may.
No, that's absolutely that's great. I appreciate it. I'm glad it was a good process, and you're absolutely right. I mean, you're coming into an organization that's definitely on the rise. Definitely was an exciting 2025 at times. This young core is developing at the right point, and I think you're going to provide excellent veteran experience. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely got to be an incentive where you're looking to win a job out of camp. The A's, I'm sure, as you do know, are looking for a little bit of help at second base and or third base, and that fits right into your profile. So I think that makes a lot of sense, and looking forward to seeing what you bring in 2026. We'll get
Thanks.
back to what you're going to provide to the A's or what your expectations are a little bit later on. But what I want to do for our audience is get to know who you are a little bit more. So obviously me, I'm a big fan of this game. I'm enjoying where the A's are going, and was really intrigued as soon as I heard, because I remembered you from your days with the Angels, so
Mhm.
wanted to do a little bit deeper dive. So I know your roots and your ties are from Boise, Idaho. Won't talk too much about that, but is there something that you're most proud of coming from there? And then a two-parter here, if you could share anything about Boise that maybe the general population doesn't know besides having awesome potatoes.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of something cool that I found out when I made my debut in 2023 with the Angels. I was the first position player since Harmon Killebrew to debut from the state of Idaho.
No, wow,
So,
wow.
um, obviously, I'm still about 600 home runs behind him. I don't have a career big league home run, so I think he's got me on that end. But just being from Idaho, the baseball growing up. I played Little League. I played, American Legion baseball. I never did the travel ball scene.
Okay.
And, you know, being able to have a great college career like I had and ended up kind of parlaying that into a professional career, it's just really special. And I'm, so proud of my Idaho roots. And, I'm back there every Christmas. I'm headed there. This podcast comes out on Monday. I'll be headed out
Yes.
there today. So, really excited about that. And yeah, I mean, in terms of the second part of the question, probably a lot of people don't know that everybody's probably familiar with the Boise State's blue turf. That's about 5 minutes from where I grew up.
Okay.
Played some high school football games there, but back in the day when they first made it blue, and plenty of people have probably heard this urban legend now, but ducks used to land on the blue turf thinking it was water and just completely crash out and explode. So,
No way.
um, yeah, there's a little not so fun fact for you. And please don't come after me, PETA, for that comment. I'm just repeating. I'm just repeating the urban legend.
Hey, hey, you can't shoot the messenger here. No, I get that. I didn't know that. I obviously knew about the blue turf, but didn't know that historical context there. So I appreciate that. And you would think it looks so artificially blue, but I guess they're not going to know it any better. So I guess I could see that from one perspective, and really cool. I had known Harmon Killebrew was from Idaho, but I didn't realize he was the last player to make from I. Wow, that's really cool. So you gave us
Yeah,
two fun facts there.
position player. There've
Position
been some
player. Okay.
pitchers, but
Gotcha. Gotcha.
position player. Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
my cat is making a guest
No,
appearance on
guest
the show, I
appearance. Hey, the
guess.
more the merrier. What's your cat's name?
His name is Binks,
Thanks. Okay. All right.
like
What's up,
Hocus
thanks?
Pocus.
No, that's
We're trying to get him out of here. I just fed him. I'm not sure why he's here, but alas, pets, right?
well, that was thanks, Hayes Day fans. Hope you enjoyed that brief appearance. But all right. So I appreciate you sharing, and you sound very proud of your Boise roots as well. That I appreciate
Yeah.
that for sure. Let's talk about your college days a little bit because I was really impressed by your track record for sure. Just want to, give you a little kudos here. Is it right that you were the first player in program history to be named All Conference and All Gold Glove team all 4 years?
Correct.
Does that still stand? Has anyone done it since you now? Just
I
curious.
I believe it still stands. Since they've made a jump and my coach has since become the AD at Westmont, I've kind of, had a hard time following just playing every day. It's been
Hmm.
tough to follow, but I believe it still stands and I could be wrong about that. But, nonetheless, I'm very proud of the career I had at Westmont and I absolutely loved Santa Barbara.
No, that's awesome. It's beautiful over there, without a doubt. Seems like you had a very successful college career. Is there anything that or any main principles you think you took from your time there that helped you stay on that pathway? Because we'll get to your journey on how you landed in professional baseball. Because I know it's a little bit more unorthodox than I mean I'm sure it happens to plenty of guys for sure. But in essence, you went the undrafted route, and we'll discuss that
Yeah.
in a second. But was there anything during your college days you think helped you provide that foundation?
I think just kind of, the resilience aspect and being able to overcome, hard things and difficulties because sorry, he's up here again. It's all right.
No,
Um,
no problem.
I came in and I actually walked on at an NAI school. I had come off two pretty severe ankle injuries in high school, both my junior
Oh,
and senior years, which kind of obviously impacted my recruiting. And I came in as the fourth second baseman on the depth chart and ended up hitting like 650 in the fall and
oh wow.
kind of won the job, you know, after being the fourth second baseman on the depth chart and ended up playing 200 games in 4 years for just about every single game. So
Wow.
that aspect of just being able to overcome injuries and difficulty and that perspective has been huge in terms of my professional career as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely showing plenty of signs of perseverance and turning it into a successful situation, keeping grinding, having your goals in sight. So no, it's always good to hear those kind of stories of overcoming some sort of adversity. And then, it continues on. You have such a great career at Westmont. You're a record holder across several offensive categories, and yet you don't get your name called on draft day. So, what the heck there? We know things happen, and we know plenty of talented guys get overlooked. But you didn't let that stop you. So you went your own unique way, and you sent out your recruiting homemade video to all MLB teams. Would you mind sharing what went into that thought process and kind of what that looked like?
Yeah, so I had a girlfriend at the time. Her really good family friend worked in the front office with the Padres, and
Okay.
both my junior and senior year of college, I was kind of in talks with teams and scouts of like, hey, we're gonna take you type of things, and nothing ended up happening. So I kind of sat down with this family friend of my girlfriend's at the time, and he was basically just like, most of these teams don't even know who you are. Like you came from a really small school, you didn't play against elite competition on TV. You don't have any sort of, at that time it was before kind of the wave of like bat speed and all that exit velo and all that stuff was like public knowledge. Um,
Absolutely.
so I mean, I had really good numbers, but scouts weren't coming to my games because Pepperdine or UC Irvine are right down the road and they can go watch six guys as opposed to watching one guy and making a trip up to Santa Barbara. So I sat down with him and he was like, we really just need to get your name out there and see if somebody will take a shot on you. And I did that. I drove home. I drove 14 hours home to Idaho to film this video at my high school field with my dad's iPad at the time, and kind of sent that out to all 30 teams. And luckily the Angels took a shot on me. It's actually kind of a very fortunate thing for me. They had a couple guys go down in one play, I believe, in the Arizona Complex League in 2018, and kind of a collision, and they literally just needed somebody to play infield. And I was fresh in their mind. I had just sent those emails out, and they said, how soon can you be out to Arizona? And
Wow.
I said, I'll be there tomorrow, ready to play. And hit 400 in the AZL and got a call up a week later. So and kind of just rode that wave the entire time, and was able to crack the big leagues. So happy
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
no, I appreciate it. That's something, and it's gives perspective on life too as well, right? I mean, it's all about
Hmm.
timing sometimes, and if you would have sent that a little bit later, the Angels might have already found someone else. So to me, it sounds like it was meant to be, and glad it worked out. And it's just, yeah, you're absolutely right. I know it's such a big pool of talent across our country and even
Hmm.
internationally too as well. There's so many schools, there's so many big time schools. So some guys can get lost in the shuffle, but I'm glad you made it to someone's mind because you stuck pretty much around in professional baseball from there. Because if the Angels didn't end up seeing you, you were actually all set up to be a legal assistant at a law firm, right?
Yeah, so I'd actually just gotten home from an interview, and I was pretty confident I had landed the job. And I get home and I get a call from a number that I didn't recognize. And 9 times out of 10, you don't answer it. You assume it's spam, like whatever.
For sure.
But for whatever reason, I decided to answer that phone call, and it led to me signing with the Angels and kind of making that into a professional career. And that was huge. I'm glad I answered that phone call.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Was it a California, Arizona number? Is that why you're more maybe inclined, or what
No,
made you?
it was actually a Hawaii number, and I was like,
Oh,
this is so out there that
so
I
you really
like.
rolled the dice.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I'll answer it. Mahalo.
Well, good thing you answered that call because who knows? Maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But hey,
Yeah,
you got their attention, and then you stuck. You definitely earned your keep for sure. You work your way through the minors, and then like you mentioned, you make your MLB debut July 3rd, 2022. Correct? It was against the
that's
Astros.
correct. Yep.
Kind of walk me through the emotions of that day. Like what you were penciled as a starter that day, or did you come in later in the game?
Yeah, no, I started
You
that game.
started, yeah,
That was actually a great story too. And we were playing a night game in Seattle, Tacoma, actually the night before with the AAA team. I get the call up around 7 o'clock. I'm on a red eye to play a Sunday day game on July 3rd in Houston. And my plane gets delayed about 4 hours and doesn't end up leaving until about 3 in the morning. So I
Oh,
went straight from the airport to the ballpark,
oh man.
go in to say hi to manager Phil Nevin at the time. And he tells me I'm in there, and I was like, all right, let's strap it on. And that game didn't go my way, but it was an experience, and a day that I will never forget for
Oh,
sure.
without a doubt. No, I didn't realize you had that journey, but you made it.
Yeah.
That's cool. You get penciled in there. Quick trivia for you. I'm sure it seems like you have a good memory in terms of comes to baseball too as well. But do you remember who your first MLB hit was against?
I believe it was Zach Pop in my second game. Is that
No,
right?
so Zach Pop, he was with the Marlins, right? So
Marlins.
you have the right team, that's correct, but no, not the right pitcher.
Was it
But
Tanner
you're,
Scott?
yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
Tanner
Okay.
Scott, you
There it
came in as a
was.
pinch hitter and you got a base hit. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
You had the
That's
right
right.
team though, so hey.
I believe it was a 2-0 slider that I kind of just emergency hacked. That was like, it was too good not to swing at, and I just filleted it into right field. Yeah, I
Not,
remember. I remember now.
not a bad guy to get your first one too, because at that time he was still probably at the peak of his powers, I would
Yeah.
say. Tough lefty, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, absolutely. Well, good for you. You cracked your way in. I'm sure that's something you'll never forget as well. So your time, I know you mentioned when you got called up, was Joe Madden gone by then? It was Phil Nevin had taken over?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because I was gonna ask like what it was like, but I guess you weren't there yet. But I'm sure had you ever had any encounters with Joe Madden, like spring training or anything like that? Like, can you share
Yeah.
anything unique there?
Definitely one of the most personable, kind human beings I've ever met. I remember introducing myself to him. I was backing up one of the big league guys in camp that year, and got a chance to say hi to the skipper, and he took 10, 15 minutes out of his day to just have a conversation with me. We kind of bonded over Boise. He had been with the Angels in the minor leagues a long time, and they were formerly the Boise Hawks,
Okay.
who were a short season team for him, and he had spent some time out there, so we bonded over that. And just a great guy.
No, that's awesome. He seems like it, and I know he's off his baseball media ventures, but looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing him. I'm sure he's itching to get back in the dugout someday. I mean, he's a great
no
baseball
doubt.
mind. Would love to see it without a doubt.
I hope he
Um,
does.
do you have a favorite teammate from your time with the Angels?
Oh shoot, there's so many good ones. Taylor Ward, probably. Him and I, lived 5 minutes from each other when I was with the Angels, and we play golf together in the off season all the time and hit together. So, got to go with him. But I mean, I enjoyed all my teammates in LA,
For
and
sure.
they're all great. So
No, yeah, no, it seemed like a good group when you were over there. I remember some of those Angels teams for sure. Yeah, just more curious, and yeah, obviously Taylor Ward, he's no longer with the Angels. He now
yeah,
got in that trade to Baltimore, so coming off a pretty good season himself. You guys still keep in touch?
we do. He
Yeah.
has since moved, but still keep in touch from time to time, and hopefully I get to see him this year. It's tough when guys move away. It's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, but yeah, I'm sure you guys will find a way without a doubt. Let's get back to talking about your career a little bit. What would you say? And I have a well, I'll let you share it, and then I'll let you know if this is what I was thinking as well. But what would you say is the highlight of your MLB career thus far?
Um, you're probably spot on with this, but I had a walk-off single against the Yankees when I was with LA. That was incredibly special. I grew up a Red Sox fan, actually, so it was nice to kind of stick it to New York a little bit, and
Sure.
that was a fun day. But obviously the Yankees are such a great organization, historical, and it was fun to do that.
Yeah, no, without it, that is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, especially growing up of their rival team. To kind of add
Yeah,
that little bit of the emotional element for sure, and I'm sure also memory you'll never forget. Do you remember who you got the knockoff of?
I do not. That
I
was
didn't
such a
see. I
blur.
was just curious.
Yeah, I it was a lefty for sure, but
Okay.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, no problem. That was a little bonus. I know that's tough, especially I'm sure the emotions of that. It just becomes a blur at some point. You remember it happened, remember the joy of it, and that's pretty much it. So totally
Yeah.
understand that. So continue on. Obviously, you got your opportunity with the Angels, and then this past season you were with a new organization with the
Mhm.
Toronto Blue Jays, which national audience definitely got to see a lot of what Toronto was up to this year. They had
Mhm.
a great year, making it all the way to Game 7 of the World Series. They were, I mean, inches short from winning that. It was one of the best World Series that I've ever seen, and wonder if
Yep.
you feel the same. But before, I know you played 9 games with them, and then you spent the majority of the season at AAA Buffalo. But
Mhm.
during your time up at the big leagues, did you get enough of a feel of a pulse? Like, what was it like being in that clubhouse? And did you have a feeling that the season was going to end up in that fashion?
Yeah, I mean, I was up there for about a month. I only got in about, like you said, 9 games, but I was up there
Hmm.
for a month in May and part of June too. And I mean, that was such a special, close-knit group. I mean, it was a great combination of veteran guys along with a lot of, guys that made their way and even started the season in Buffalo who came up and, were able to play their butts off and compete. I knew that they were a really good team and that we were a really good team. But, obviously in May, you have no idea how the rest of the season's going to turn out. But it just seemed
Sure.
like, especially after I had accepted my assignment and went back to Buffalo, it just seemed like every night we would get done with our game in Buffalo and we'd check on the Blue Jays and they were making some incredible comeback. And it was just like all the talk in that Buffalo clubhouse was just like, it seems like just such a team of destiny. And they really, I mean, every single guy in that clubhouse pulled from the same side of the rope and cared about one another more so than even their own numbers. And I think that's a lot of what it takes to win at the big league level is that kind of mentality and understanding that, hey, everybody on the 26 man or the 40 man or the organization has a role to play, and you just play that to the best of your abilities and see where the chips fall.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it seemed like team first. It seemed so close knit, like you were saying, and from our scope, and I appreciate that insight for sure. From our scope, it also kind of seemed like the Jays greatly changed some of their philosophies on how they attack the game
Mm.
of baseball. Like it seemed like there was more of a concerted effort to have pride in the baseball, protecting the baseball, and having more contact rate as compared to just swinging for that big home run. Like we know plenty of those Blue Jays teams in the past, a lot of sluggers, but a lot of strikeout
Yep.
in that game. So that seems like that's something they've got a ton better at. Again, I could see why you'd be a perfect fit in that organization. Like you seem to fit that model. Now, saying that, do you feel like there's anything that you learned there that maybe you can bring over to a younger core group here that seems to be taking those steps and learning and getting major league experience, but still has some work to do maybe in the plate discipline area and connecting those team at bats?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, for me, right, like I have such a low swing and miss rate that it's like when I worked with Pop and those guys over there, the hitting coaches, they were like, we know you're going to make contact when you swing. We know you're going to have a good at bat, but like the next step in your game is being able to trust yourself and trust your swing and trust your move that you make to the ball and take those shots and leverage counts to do some damage and try to hit balls hard in the air. And I think that was kind of something that I've been lacking the last couple of years is yeah, I made a lot of contact, but it wasn't necessarily quality contact. So, just picking those spots, whether it's in a game or a series against a team where, you feel comfortable against a guy to, take a shot to hit a double or, you know, even more than that, try to hit a homer. So, I mean, it's that happy medium. But I mean, in terms of, bringing that to the A's, I'm more so just really excited to develop relationships with my teammates and, kind of talk them through. I feel like I have some really good insights and experiences to share. I've been at the highest of highs and lowest lows, been designated twice now and, debuted for 2 teams. And, I feel like I'm really excited to meet those guys and to get to work with them.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. It was a more amazing insight. And, absolutely. I think it kind of, symbolizes almost like a boxing match, like a fighter, right? You kind of have those games and situations where you're just jabbing, trying to wear down the opponent. And then you go for that big haymaker. And then that there are opportunities you can open up a little bit. So I totally understand that. I appreciate, yeah, getting the mental mindset from a professional hitter. It's always good to hear. Aside from that great insight, you did come off a pretty solid season at AAA. You hit 287, 106 games. Um, you kind of talked about, you're looking forward to creating new relationships and getting to know your new teammates. Is there anything else that you feel like about you, either baseball wise or personality wise, that maybe it's kind of unique that you're going to bring to a new clubhouse?
I kind of just like to describe myself as like a grimy, like dirty baseball player. Like I'm gonna go and compete. I'm gonna be diving everywhere. I'm gonna play the game hard. I'm gonna play the game what I view as the right way. Um, Playing through soreness, like whatever it is, like whatever I can do to help the team win, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm never gonna be a flashy guy. I'm never gonna be a guy that hits 40 homers, but I'm gonna make the routine plays when they're hit at me. I'm gonna work a quality at bat 9 times out of 10 and hopefully get a lot of hits and draw some walks. I mean, that's the kind of thing what I envision is kind of a guy who can set the table at the bottom of the lineup and get on base a lot for, guys like Wilson and Kurtz and guys like that who are more of the boppers and get a bunch of hits and, hopefully drive me in a bunch. But, we'll see. I'm just looking forward, like I said, to meeting my teammates and getting to work.
That's great. And I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms, just, during this past season from afar. And then the few opportunities we got to be credentialed before A's games, you can kind of see how close knit this group is. Like you can even just see it when they're doing their batting practice routine stuff. Like they're always in groups, like they're always together. They always stretch together. Like you could just see it's a group that loves being around each other and competes day in and day out. So I think with your mentality, what you were just sharing with us, I think you're going to fit in swimmingly and can't wait to see it. Um, so, with heading into 2026, I know you mentioned earlier that you do have an opportunity to win a job at a spring training camp, which is great. Did they specifically give you a certain position that you're going for? Is it going to be second and third base? Is there any other spot that they're looking at you as well?
I think it's going to be mostly second and third. At this point in my career, I kind of fit a more utility mold than probably an everyday mold. But like I said before, I'm going to do whatever it takes to compete and help the team win. If that means playing third, that means playing third. If that means playing second, second. So if I need to fill in it short, I'll do it. If I need to strap on the gear and go back and catch, I'll do it. So
That's
that's
great
that's
to
just the
hear.
type of guy I am, and just whatever I can do to help the ball club is who I am.
I love it. That's great to hear. I appreciate that so much. Michael, thank you for your time today. We've got one more question for you. Uh, let's see here. Before we let you go, we have the A's Day final at bat question, which is presented by Visit Mesa. So we're going to do a quick AI read for them. Welcome to Mesa, Arizona, a destination for every season. Experience a destination where adventure, culture, and culinary experiences are limitless. As the gateway to the stunning Sonoran Desert and Tonto National Forest, Mesa invites you to explore its scenic waterways, kayak through winding canyons, or paddleboard along the Salt River. For a one-of-a-kind desert adventure, ride the waves at Revel Surf at Cannon Beach, the country's first surf park of its kind. Downtown Mesa is a vibrant hub, home to the Mesa Arts Center, public art, award-winning breweries, and local shops. Food lovers can explore the Fresh Foodie Trail and the diverse flavors of Mesa's Asian district. Sports fans can experience MLB spring training with the Chicago Cubs and Athletics, or visit one of North America's largest youth sports complexes. As the world's first autism certified city, Mesa is dedicated to accessibility and inclusivity for all visitors. All right, Michael. So when you have a solid spring training and win a spot on this A's roster, so we speak things into existence here. We
Yeah,
like to
let's
put that.
manifest it. I love that.
I
My
love it.
wife
That's
says the
how we
same
rock and
thing.
roll here. I could definitely see it. I feel like you'd fit in perfectly with this middle infield group, without a doubt. So first, we look forward to seeing you at Sutter Health Park in 2026. But as for my question, we talked about what you're bringing to the A's organization. Let's frame it towards the direction of A's fans. What should spark A's fans' excitement with Michael Stefanic on the 2026 A's opening day roster? And what do you feel like you're going to contribute that no one else can in your position? You've mentioned from what you're going to bring in terms of the clubhouse and what your teammates can expect of you. But maybe if you can just switch up the scope towards a fan's point of view, we'd appreciate to hear a little bit.
Wow, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing I'm going to bring is competing every day. And one thing about me is I'm going to make a lot of contact. It's about 97% of the time I swing, I hit the ball. So if you like contact and you like guys who get on base, you'll like me. So That's hoping what I can bring to the table, but obviously a lot of work to do, and excited to get out to Mesa during the new year and meet the guys and get to work for the Ace.
All right, awesome. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. We were treated to a great conversation about learning about you, where you're going to be bringing to the A's. I'm excited. I want to see you on that 26-man roster without a doubt. Newly signed to the A's earlier this month. Michael, best of luck heading into spring training and for a strong 2026. Let's go, A's.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.